first light, the giants of global trade wait in silence for the day's movement to begin.
This container ship is one of thousands that thread the world's shipping lanes every year.
For now, heavy mooring lines hold the ship firmly to the land it will soon leave behind. Above the vessel, steel giants wait patiently to begin the orchestrated chaos of loading. From the bridge wing, officers watch the port awaken, measuring risk in every movement. Their job is simple to describe but hard to execute. Take on thousands of tons of cargo and leave safely on time. On shore, containers form a landscape of commerce, each box a sealed story of goods in transit. Before the first box is lifted on board, the crew walks the deck, preparing the ship to accept its load. Every locking point must function flawlessly. Each one will hold back the weight of the world's cargo. As the sun climbs, so does the machinery. Cranes come alive, and the operation begins.
Communication between deck and crane is constant. Play. One misread signal can cause disaster. All right, so load is secure.
Voices travel through cables and air, the nervous system of this floating workplace.
The spreader is the crane's hand. It must meet each box with perfect precision. 4 clicks signal a secure grip. Only then can dozens of tons rise into the air.
From shore to ship, each container travels a short distance that represents a much longer journey.
On deck, the crew guides the final moments of each lift, turning heavy metal into controlled motion. At the end of these ropes, human strength and judgment tame tons of swinging steel. One box down, hundreds more to go before the ship is ready to sail.
Every box has a specific place, a puzzle of weight, balance, and destination.
Digital plans guide the operation, translating global trade into rows and columns of data. As the morning advances, the terminal becomes a machine, cranes feeding the ship without pause.
The crew stays one step ahead of the cranes, preparing each bay before the next load arrives.
These small devices carry immense responsibility. They are the fasteners that hold the stack together at sea. On land, trucks feed the port's appetite, each arrival another fragment of the global supply chain. From the rail, the crew sees not just cargo tadov, but the endless flow of goods entering and leaving their ship.
For the trucker, the journey ends here. For the ship, it is only the beginning.
Slowly, the ship transforms, an empty platform becoming a dense, layered city of cargo.
Leadership on deck blends experience with constant adaptation. No 2 loading days are exactly the same.
Some stacks will face the harshest seas, though. They receive extra layers of attention now, before the ship ever leaves port.
On shore, work pauses in short breaks. On board, the crew pushes on to stay ahead of the schedule. Lashing and locking take strength and stamina, repeated hundreds of times in a single day.
That final rotation turns loose cargo into a secure structure meant to withstand storms.
On deck, specialized crew wire these cold boxes into the ship's electric lifeline.
A digital readout becomes a promise to keep what's inside at exactly the right degree for thousands of miles.
Beyond the port, millions live unaware of the exact moment their goods join this floating corridor of trade. For the crew, loading day is a marathon of steel, sweat, and strict procedures.
Every bar lifted now will mean one less vulnerability, when the sea begins to move.
From the terminal's control tower, it looks like a slow, precise choreography of color and mass.
Amid the noise and motion, safety officers enforce the rules that keep this dangerous work survivable.
A checked buckle here can mean a life saved later if something goes wrong in an instant.
Port staff and ship's crew must operate as one team, divided by a short gangway and a long legal line of responsibility.
Before containers move, paperwork moves first. Signatures authorizing steel to cross borders.
By noon, the ship is no longer just a hull. It has become a layered archive of global commerce.
The vertical dimension of the deck turns every inspection into a climb.
There is no true pause in port. Even during brief breaks, the work never fully stops.
Meals on loading day are brief refuelings. The real focus remain on the deck outside.
Signs of strain decorate every surface, reminders of the intensity beyond the bulkhead.
As the day warm, the pace remains relentless, each hour booked and billed in terminal schedules.
Below the bridge, computers constantly recalculate how weight and balance shape the ship's behavior at sea. Each new container nudges the ship's center of gravity, Okan, the invisible pivot of its survival in storms.
Even as more cargo arrives, earlier stacks must be rechecked. Steel security is never assumed, only confirmed.
These bars are the muscles of the ship's cargo system, tightened by human hands, resisting ocean forces later. As the tension rises, the slight tremble disappears, a sign that the cargo is locked firmly together. Around the ship, the port's own ecosystem moves in complex patterns of routine and risk.
Access to the vessel is tightly controlled, a floating workplace and a floating border at the same time.
Every person who steps on board is logged and accountable, just like every container.
Not all cargo fits neatly into standard boxes. Some pieces required special planning and extra caution.
Officers watch closely. A misjudged margin here could interfere with navigation or safety devices later at sea.
Marks on steel turn abstract calculations into exact physical locations on the deck.
With each added ton, the ship settles lower, edging closer to the design limit drawn into its steel.
Below deck, engineers monitor how the loading above affects the hull and propeller below.
These numbers reflect the ship's posture, a body language of floating steel and hidden volume.
Galley clerks verify that the cargo loaded matches the cargo promised. No more, no less.
Each string of letters and numbers is a passport in the world of freight. Unique, traceable, essential. As the afternoon stretches, shadows lengthen across steel, the day's work nearing its climax. Repetition is their craft, every motion refined by countless ports and countless stacks of cargo. Secured lashings form an unseen bulkhead of resistance against the chaos of future storms. The final boxes complete the mosaic, each one more piece of a fragile global puzzle.
With the final bay secured, focus shifts from loading to leaving. What began as a digital blueprint is now a physical stack of steel and cargo, ready to face the sea.
As cranes fall silent, their part in this voyage ends. Fared. The rest belongs to the ship and her crew.
Once again, lines and knots become the language that separates land from sea. These ropes have held the ship steady through countless docks, and soon will fall slack as she moves away.
Powerful but compact, tugs gather like guardians, preparing to guide the giant out of its berth.
In narrow waters, local knowledge joins long experience at the helm.
The path out is fixed on paper, but every departure is a unique dance with wind, current, and traffic.
The connection between ship and shore is gradually dismantled, a ritual repeated in ports worldwide.
For crew, each gangway shift is a reminder that their world is about to shrink to steel and sea once again.
Soon, there will be no easy step back to land, only a long voyage ahead.
Daylight slips away, just as preparations to leave finally come together.
On the mooring deck, departure becomes a physical act. Heavy lines ready to run free.
Timing must be flawless. Release too early and control is lost. Too late and the ship strains dangerously against the pier.
Tugs apply carefully measured force, enough to move, not enough to destabilize.
Voices weave a temporary web of coordination, binding 4 vessels into a single maneuver.
Tug 1, hold position. Stern line, easy tension.
Begin letting go forward lines.
One short phrase over the radio can set thousands of tons into motion.
Even amid movement, discipline continues. Every rope must be ready for the next port, not just this one.
As the final line eases, the ship truly separates from solid ground.
Centimeter by centimeter, the giant drifts out into open water once again.
From the bridge, they watch the port slide away. Another departure among countless others, yet never routine.
Power increases slowly. Too much, too soon, and control in the narrow fairway could be lost. Behind her, the port glows in evening light. Ahead, only channel markers and the darkening sea.
For the deck crew, the hardest part of the day is over.
But the voyage has only just begun.
Every tremor now resonates through cargo and hull, Medb, a subtle reminder that the sea has entered the equation.
Channel lights mark the boundary between safety and danger, a floating road carved into the water.
On the bridge, eyes never leave the instruments, even in familiar waters.
Each pixel and line translates tons of steel into a simple symbol moving along a digital path.
Port returns to being a distant glow, a static city, watching the ship fade into the night.
With the last hatches closed and chains in place, the deck changes from worksite to seagoing platform.
Every sealed hatch denies seawater one more chance to find its way inside.
As darkness settles, the ship becomes a layered maze of steel, lit only where it must be.
At the edge of port waters, the pilot's role ends, Doran, and the captain's full responsibility begins.
A brief gesture marks the transfer of control between local insight and long-distance command.
In rolling water, the pilot's small boat dances dangerously close to the giant's hull.
With the pilot gone, there is no one left to ask about local shoals or currents, and the ship must now rely on its own people and tools.
Lights on the mast declare the ship's status and course to all who share the sea around her. Beyond the protective walls of the harbor lies the open ocean, unpredictable, vast, and unforgiving.
In open water at night, the human eye and the electronic screen share equal importance.
The clutter of port traffic disappears.
replaced by the simpler, but no less dangerous, emptiness of the open sea.
The ship carves its own narrow corridor through the dark water, carrying thousands of unseen journeys on board.
Even just after departure, watchkeepers patrol the deck, guarding cargo from the smallest signs of trouble.
The port, the cranes, and the trucks are all behind her now, and ahead lies only water, weather.
For the captain, another voyage has begun. Familiar, yet never entirely predictable.
In ink and numbers, the story of this day in port is reduced to a few lines that hide the scale of the effort behind them.
From here, it looks simple, a single ship leaving a shore. But within its steel and cargo,